The meaning of the self. The self refers to how a person understands who they are. It includes how someone thinks about themselves, how they describe themselves, and how they make sense of their personality, abilities, values, and experiences. The self is not something you are born with fully formed. Instead, it develops over time. As people grow older, go through new experiences, meet different people, and face challenges, their understanding of themselves changes. Because of this, the self is not fixed or permanent. A person at age 10 does not see themselves the same way at age 20 or 40. This shows that the self is flexible and continues to develop throughout life. The self as both personal and social. The self is shaped by both internal and external factors. Internally, the self comes from a person's thoughts, memories, beliefs, emotions, and goals. These inner processes help people reflect on who they are and what they want in life. Externally, the self is shaped by other people. Family members, friends, teachers, co-workers, and society all influence how a person sees themselves. Feedback from others, whether positive or negative, plays an important role in shaping self-understanding. This means the self is not created in isolation. People learn about themselves partly by interacting with others and seeing how they are treated and perceived. The idea of multiple selves. People do not have just one single self that appears in every situation. Instead, individuals have multiple selves depending on the context they are in. For example, a person may behave one way at work or school, another way with friends, another way with family, and yet another way when they are alone. Each of these versions reflects a different part of the same person. These different selves are normal and expected. They allow people to adapt to different roles and social situations. However, sometimes these selves can feel like they conflict, especially when expectations from different areas of life clash. Difference between self and identity. Although the terms are related, self and identity are not exactly the same. The self refers to the overall understanding of who a person is as a whole, is the broad picture. Identity, on the other hand, refers to specific roles, labels, or categories that a person uses to define themselves. These can include identities such as being a student, professional, parent, member of a religious group, part of a cultural group, or belonging to a certain gender or nationality. A person usually has many identities at the same time, and together, these identities help form the overall self. Why identity is important. Identity plays a key role in helping people function in everyday life. It gives individuals a sense of belonging, purpose, and direction. Identity helps people understand where they fit in society and what is expected of them. It also helps guide decision-making and behavior. When people have a clear sense of identity, they tend to feel more stable and confident in their choices. Without a clear identity, people may feel confused, lost, or uncertain about their place in the world. This is why identity is important for psychological well-being. Identity as a changing process. Identity is not something that is discovered once and then remains the same forever. Instead, it is a continuous process. As people go through different life stages such as childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and later life, their identities change. New experiences, successes, failures, and changes in environment can all influence how people define themselves. Changing identity does not mean a person has failed. It simply means they are adapting and growing in response to life. Self-concept and self-esteem. Two important parts of the self are self-concept and self-esteem. Self-concept refers to what a person believes about themselves. This includes beliefs about abilities, personality traits, strengths, and weaknesses. Self-esteem refers to how a person feels about themselves, whether they feel valuable, confident, or worthy. A person can have a clear self-concept but still struggle with low self-esteem. Likewise, someone may feel confident but not fully understand who they are. Although related, these two aspects are not the same. The role of culture in shaping identity. Culture has a strong influence on how people develop their sense of self and identity. Culture affects values, goals, and beliefs about what is important in life. In some cultures, people are encouraged to see themselves as independent individuals who focus on personal achievement. In other cultures, people are encouraged to see themselves as part of a group, such as a family or community. Neither approach is better or worse. They simply shape people in different ways and influence how individuals understand themselves and their relationships with others. Why understanding self and identity matters. Understanding the concepts of self and identity helps explain human behavior, motivation, and relationships. It helps explain why people make certain choices, how they react to challenges, and how they relate to others. This knowledge is useful not only in psychology or academics, but also in everyday life. It helps people better understand themselves and develop empathy for others.